What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another BBM5. I've kind of come to terms with it doesn't really matter what you do in the first 3 rounds. It's all going to be pretty standard. So it starts to get interesting. You start to have some player takes around rounds 4 and after. So that's why we're turning on the camera now. We see Pacheco go. Was definitely considering taking Pacheco, but you start to get risky. So we have the option. I'm definitely gonna take. I'm taking always Xavier Worthy here, because I don't think he'll make it back ever to 72, and I think that he can easily return this value plus more. The question is do we take Pat or CJ? It's hard. It's hard. We can have more secondary stacking options with CJ, but it just boils down to who scores more fantasy points. Dude, that's so hard. You have to pick between year 2 CJ Stroud or Patrick Mahomes that just got two insane players. Ah, man, we're going Patrick Mahomes. It's hard. That's a real hard one. You can make great cases for both of them. 2 picks away here. There's a lot of really good picks on the board. Big fan of Jordan Addison here. He's definitely what I'm trying to get the most. Sweet, we get Jordan Addison. And who we're going to go also with Jordan Addison is I do like taking JSN here a lot. It's either JSN or D Hop for me. I think I'm going to go JSN. His talent is just ridiculous. His ceiling. So we have a 1, 2, 4 through 7. Definitely a fan of how this draft's going. What we're praying for here is Brock Bowers or Njoku to still be on the board, because then we'll just have a really nicely set up team where we have elite bets in all the categories. Oh, dude, Njoku goes. The reports of Bowers taking handoffs in this offense it gets me feeling some type of way about what kind of playmaker Brock Bowers is. Because if they're confident to hand off a ball out of the backfield to a supposed tight end, we have to ask ourselves, is he really a tight end? I mean, he's just like the biggest wide receiver you've ever seen, essentially. He's like the biggest version of Curtis Samuel, maybe. The white fucking Brock Bowers version of Curtis Samuel. That's kind of what we're getting pitched right now. And there's nothing like that at the tight end position right now. And Pierce strikes me as the kind of head coach that's down to just do what he thinks is best. And if what he thinks is best is giving handoffs to Brock Bowers out of the backfield, brother, I am all there for it. I love that. I love that that is probably where we're going to end up on. And he took handoffs in college. This isn't a crazy new concept. Like giving handoffs to Brock Bowers. He took handoffs in college. Not a lot of them, but not a crazy amount of them. Sheb is really torn here. What's he thinking? Cortland Sutton. That is unfortunate. I was going to go Cortland Sutton. I was going to go Cortland Sutton, Brock Bowers all day there. So going Brock Bowers, we can cue that up. Y'all know. And then it's just gun to your head, Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel. Or you could drink the Mike Williams juice, but I do like Malachi Corley as a talent, and then but how much do I trust Rodgers though is the question. And if you are betting on Mike Williams, you're also betting on Rodgers. I don't know. It's a bet that I have been making. Like as you can see, I have him ranked 98, which is definitely like above where he is going. But I'm going Shakir. I'm going Shakir. It's what my heart tells me. And it's all like, dude, I really do think Shakir is a better wide receiver than Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel is more all purpose for sure. Khalil Shakir ain't going to be taking handoffs out of the backfield like Curtis Samuel does. But when you listen to Joe Brady talk about Khalil Shakir and the way that he attacks zones and is able to read zones so well, it's really encouraging because his production premium was the highest in the NFL last year. It was just the highest. He had a 27 plus production premium, which just grades how he performs as a receiver with the ball in his hands relative to all the other receivers. He was the best in the NFL. So if he is able to be electric with the ball in his hands, and then also his coach is raving about how smart he is and how he's able to read zones, I mean, we're really early still in Khalil Shakir's career, and he came out of a college that you would need to be a Randy Moss type profile to have any sort of role in the NFL year one or two. He came out of Boise State, like Boise, Idaho. Who was the last player you know that came out of Boise State? You know, like, and that you know was good from Boise State. So he legit might be his college's best ever player. And I may be slandering someone right now because of my non-extensive Boise knowledge, but I'm just saying it's not a good program. And he was the best receiver at Boise for y'all that didn't know. He's the best receiver at Boise by far. Did he set records? Probably. I don't know. But I think year 3 in this offense, he's going to have a huge breakout because, I mean, they drafted Keon Coleman and they brought in Curtis Samuel, who Joe Brady does love and will use everywhere on the field. But Khalil Shakir, as a route runner and potentially as a best ball spike week player, dude, I mean, like, have we already forgotten some of his insane plays from last year that was just like, yo, like, how? Like, he was able to, dude, there's just one play that's ingrained in my mind. He runs an out route and then, like, does, like, a head fake and then shakes one dude off and then just sprints to the end zone. I'm a huge Khalil Shakir bull, and yeah, I'm in the Shakir over everyone camp, to be honest, receiver wise in that receiver room. Just total receiving yards next year, I'd take Shakir. We see Tyjae Spears go off the board. Very disappointing. We were looking to get our hero, Tyjae Spears. We're taking Jerome Ford here 100%. He has correlation all across the board through our teams. And on top of that, I think he is the best pick. Next pick, it's hard because I do like a lot of the receivers' values that are still in the 130 through 160 range, honestly, or 140 through 160 range. So I don't feel bad about taking Eckler here at all, or Corum. I think it's tough. If you're picking Blake Corum, you're betting against Kyron's health. That's just the bet you're making. But with Austin Eckler, can he return to form? We'll see. Their offense was so bad last year that it's kind of hard to grade Austin Eckler. Obviously, he didn't look great, and he did have the lowest mile per hour registered um, in a game last year. That is obviously horrendous. You don't want to be doing that. But those are just the two easiest picks I've maybe ever made in best ball history. You could argue that I'm supposed to go Muth there over Roman Wilson, but our receiver room would be at 6, and I'd rather have the extra receiver there. I also believe a lot in Roman Wilson's talent, so it's a huge factor for me as well. The quarterbacks we're looking at for this room are currently JJ McCarthy and Geno Smith. I am more JJ over Geno. I wonder if I have who I've ranked higher. Geno ranked a little higher just because ADP. But like Seattle says, there's no competition with Sam Howell. But I mean, like the Vikings, they don't have a choice. They kind of have to ride out JJ McCarthy. That's just the situation they're in. But the Seahawks, if Geno is not playing well, which I'm literally just saying, I'm comparing worst case scenarios. Like worst case scenario, I don't know how Minnesota gets off of JJ McCarthy. I don't. He's a rookie, and I feel like they're just going to give him the opportunity to develop. And however the season goes, they're just going to accept that because it's really not a bad strategy. Because if it goes terrible, great. You have a very nice draft capital now. If it goes great, I mean, dude, that's locked in. That's locked in. The team is locked in. But so those are like the two pitfalls. And the receivers that I have are JSN and Jordan Addison. And as much as I love JSN, it's really hard to sit here before anything has happened in year 2 to sit here and tell you that he's a better receiver than DK Metcalf. So they're kind of the same player, as in they're the clear wide receiver 2 on their offense. And obviously, I'll get pushback on that of like, what about Tyler Lockett? And it's like, I understand Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's great. Tyler Lockett is a very, very good NFL receiver, and he still probably will be playable this year and not kill your team. Will he help you win the tournament? Will he help you advance? I don't know, but he'll probably put a cumulative fantasy points. The spike weeks and the player that might help you win the tournament just off of production alone, because they're not a cone, no offense, is JSN. On that offense. So comparing Jordan Addison and JSN of like, whose targets are more valuable between Geno and JJ McCarthy? Well, it's like they're kind of the same player. So, but Minnesota, if you look at who's behind Jordan Addison, it's barren as fuck right now with TJ Hawkinson injured. So through the first 8 weeks of the season, man, like Addison's gonna be soaking up volume, but how much, like, like how well are you going to be able to do as JJ McCarthy with throwing only to 2 options? We saw Nick Mullins do pretty great. I like the bet. one away here. There's definitely a few different players we could be going here. The Justin Jefferson person has two quarterbacks, but man, I just don't know. We're taking Bucky. I kind of want to be greedy. I kind of want to be greedy. We're on Jawan Johnson. The TJ Hawk. I guess I didn't consider the TJ Hawkinson person, who only has one quarterback. I may have just cooked myself, boys. We may have just cooked ourselves. There is always the Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton. It's a classic. It's a classic. You get two cheap pieces that are probably going to somewhat outperform their value. It doesn't excite you. It's probably decent for your team though. It's like okay medicine. Oh, the dude with Hawk went Will Levis. Okay, hey, this means McCarthy. We could be the owners. We could be the proud owners of a JJ McCarthy. He went JJ McCarthy for no reason. Johnny Sunquest, you are a terrorist, my friend. You are a best ball terrorist. For no reason. We got Derek Carter, Jawan Johnson, though. He was excited. Dylan Loeb at the 190. Okay. Wow. Audric, estimate the 191. What is going on in this room? It's kind of crazy. So we're going Derek Carr for sure. We are not. Well, I mean, I don't. We technically could push it, but come on. Like let's be real. Let's be real. There has been some Tank Bigsby steam, and I'm down to throw a dart or two. We'll take Tank. The tight ends in this range, in the back half of the draft, they're so good. They're so plentiful. Like, obviously, they're not the prototypes of the players that are in the top 100 that are tight ends, but like they're still fine for what they are. You know, like all these players I have starred up here: Johnny Smith, Chigo Conquo, Greg Dulcich, Jelani Woods. 4 out of the 5 of these players, Tucker Craft, are starters at their position for their team. And like, I mean, because between Jelani Woods and Mo Alley Cox, Jelani Woods is better. Jelani Woods is a better player. There is a bit of competition there, but I mean, for your last pick, you can routinely get a starting tight end. So, just some advice would be if you usually lost at your last pick and there's no one that you love as like a dart throw that's a wide receiver or a running back, there's plenty of very good tight ends in this range that are great picks that could return significant value. Last pick of the draft, I think we go Johnny Smith. The optimal GTO 2673. Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr at quarterback. At running back, we got Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Jerome Ford, Austin Eckler, Bucky Irving, and Tank Bigsby. At wide receiver, we got Stephon Diggs, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Khalil Shakir, Jermaine Burton, and Roman Wilson. Then at tight end, we got Brock Bowers, Jawan Johnson, and Johnny Smith. And that'll wrap up the video for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. Catch you later.